The name's Bond. James Bond.
No. I am your
fathers, brothers, nephews.
Why so serious?
Cousin's former roommate.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am.
Matt and Matt here on another sunny afternoon here in April. We got a few topics we're going to run down, but first we're going to talk about our main topic. Zach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, so let's start out with last week, Disney finally came out and gave us the cast for their Obi-Wan Kenobi series that they're going to start shooting this month. We already knew about Ewan McGregor coming back, Obi-Wan. We heard last summer at Comic-Con that Hayden Christensen is going to be returning as Vader. Now, we don't know in what capacity that's going to be. Is it just going to be his voice? Or are we going to actually see Hayden Christensen outside of the mask? Because this is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, they said. So, but then last Monday we finally got the rest of the cast announced. So I'm going to... Nat, you want to run down the rest of the cast real quick?
Sure. We got Moses Ingram, Joel Edgerton, Bonnie... I can't even say her last name, so I'm not even going to try. Kamal... Man, I can't even get his last name either. But he's the guy from, the Dave Bautista one, and a bunch of other stuff.
Kamal Nanjiani, he's been around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what he plays, because I've been really impressed with him. Indra Varma, Rupert Friend, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sun Kang from the Fast and Furious series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Simone Kessel and Betty
Safdie.
Safdie.
Funny thing is, Safdie is a director, not really an actor. He's the guy with his brother made the Adam Sandler movie Uncut Gems that recently came out last year. So he's more of a director than an actor. Camille Nanjiani, I don't know what he's gonna play. Indira Varma, she was on Game of Thrones. She was with who's the guy that plays in The Mandalorian?
Pedro Pascal.
She was married to Pedro Pascal in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
So, like, the first or second season, I don't remember what season it was.
Yeah, well, everyone just remembers the gif of her yelling when Pedro gets his eyes crushed in.
O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son. Mm-hmm. He's been in a few movies.
Well, he was in the...
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of worried about that, and then I thought he shined pretty good in that.
But I think the big thing for me, at least, was having Joel Edgerton come back as Uncle Owen, and even the actor that played Aunt Peru returning for the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people wonder when they announced Hayden Christensen, like, are they going to try and get Joel Edgerton back? And funny enough, that was Joel Edgerton's first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to come back is almost like a full circle type of thing.
I really think that they have a great thing. They're setting this 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. I think this is a great time to show the Empire at the height of its power type of deal. And then you can do stuff where you're showing, like, Obi-Wan be the silent protector of Luke and the like. And then I think it would be really cool if they actually did some other stuff where they showed... like bits and pieces of like Leia on Alderaan and her growing up in that stuff. So they kind of gave some hints there because Leia has to know Obi-Wan for more than just stories. So sometime they got to meet up at least once.
Well, let me ask you that question. Do you think we're going to see a young Luke, at least a young Luke in this show?
I think you might see it. Like, I would love to see like a scene where Luke comes up and it's like you see Obi-Wan watching from afar or something, and you have that almost like a callback scene to how he gets captured in A New Hope. You do a callback scene to that, but just have him as a kid and then have Obi-Wan rescue him, but then Luke never knows. He just kind of just like gets saved but doesn't know it.
Yeah,
so I think that would be really cool.
I feel like if you're going to have Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru, you're most likely going to show Luke at some point, even if like the final episode of the season. I mean, because what else are you going to do with them?
Well, here is the good thing about what's going on, because Star Wars Rebels, the animated TV series, is canon. It's not part of Legends. It's canon. That means when Obi-Wan is old and gray, Darth Maul comes and they fight. So technically, depending on how many seasons this Obi-Wan series is, I think it would be really cool to almost end the series with a live action version of that fight scene.
Do you think we'll see a scene of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader again?
I think
if you're bringing Vader in, you're gonna have to have some moment.
You want to do it, but consistency. Vader thought that Obi-Wan was dead, so either they have to have a fight scene in which Vader dominates and almost kills Obi-Wan, and then Vader assumes that Obi-Wan died then, because in A New Hope, Vader is just going like, "Oh, you're still alive." So there's kind of that thing. I think what they should do, which would be really cool, is if this is going to be a multi-season type of deal, even if it's just 2 seasons or 3 seasons or whatever it is, if you end the first season with a fight between the two, mid-season, you have Vader go like, "He's still alive," or "I know where he is and I want to track him down," and then he tracks him down at the end, does the fight scene, and then you almost have the reverse scene of the Mustafar scene where Obi-Wan wins and stands tall. You do the reverse of that, and Vader thinks he's killed Obi-Wan, and then he kind of just goes like, "Ha ha ha," and walks away.
Yeah, I think...
Because then it shows his arrogance.
I think it will be a missed opportunity if they don't show Vader and Obi-Wan, especially if you're going to bring back Hayden Christensen.
I would almost love for some of this stuff to be flashbacks. Like, I would love... because the one thing that they did that I think that they really didn't do very well in Return of the Sith, and it was the missed opportunity of doing Attack of the Clones the way that they did, is the Attack of the Clones should have been reversed. Or at least, like, the first part should have been sped up. The whole Geonosis and clones thing should have been the first third. Then you have the midpoint and the high point of the final action scene be like the first true battle of the Clone Wars, not the Geonosis one. That's just a whatever it is. And then you have like a huge battle in there, because the one thing is that they did in Return of the Sith, or Revenge of the Sith, mixing up titles now, is that they had this great banter between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and trying to kind of like fill in the gaps of like how like building that like brother relationship. It was a tell, not show.
Well,
I would love to see that time of them like doing stuff together.
Well, you have those moments in Attack of the Clones where they're going up the elevator or whatever, or when they're in the arena, and Obi-Wan's like, this is like the time when we were, going after whatever, and you're like, well, we didn't see it.
Yeah, I was like, that would have been nice to see.
Or like in Revenge of the Sith, when they're like, you were like a brother to me, Anakin. We're like, when?
It's going like,
we never saw that.
Yeah, I was just going like, we understand that's what you're like. We understand as an audience who's watching a movie that's what you were going for, but we don't. We didn't get that kind of like lived experience of that.
Right.
They kind of covered for that in the Clone Wars TV series, or the animated TV series, and that's where they really showed like the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin and stuff like that.
But at the time,
I would love to see some of that stuff be brought to life.
Yeah, and I think that could be one of the reasons to bring back Hayden Christensen. Like, well, we put him in the Vader suit, no one's gonna realize it's Hayden Christensen.
Right, and if he's wearing the suit,
why did you bring him back?
James Earl Jones.
Well, I have 2 more questions, real quick. Do you think they're gonna bring back James Earl Jones?
They have to.
Well, I say that when last year when I saw the Lion King movie, his voice is not the same like it used to be. Yeah, I remember last time we heard James Earl Jones as Vader was over 15 years ago now.
True.
So
I think the one thing that they could do, they could have Hayden Christensen do it. I want to be like the nostalgia part of me wants James Earl Jones to do it, but they can like other people have played Vader and have done really good jobs for it. So what I would almost say is, I would bring in the voice actor who does Vader for like all of the name's missing my mind right now, but he did it for almost all the video games, and he did it in Rebels. I think it was the same guy. And bring him in and almost have him just like coach Hayden Christensen on how to do it, or just have him do it, because then it's at least you want the first time Vader speaks, you want that instant recognition. It needs to be like because the first time Vader speaks is going to be very pivotal in this, in my opinion, because you want that instant, like, Vader's voice has a way of instantly drawing you into the world.
And one more after this. What do you think we'll see Palpatine? Or
yeah, we have to see him in some way. Maybe if it's just like in a hologram of whatever, like he has to be in there somewhere. Because the whole thing is, what's going to be their plot line of this? Despite what Kathleen Kennedy says, there's about 50 books that cover this area. So they have a source material to play with, or at least to get ideas from. They're not starting from scratch. They have something to pull from.
Yeah, I mean, mostly. And my final thing is, do you think they'll be doing any de-aging of, like, Joel Edgerton? Because he's a lot older now. And he looks it than when you saw him in...
Well, he's old when in A New Hope.
Yeah, but that was still... How old is Luke in A New Hope?
I think he's in his 20s.
And this is 10 years this is 10 years earlier.
Right, so he's about 10 years old.
No, I'm talking about...
Like Luke is. Luke is supposed to be 10 years old.
I'm talking about Uncle Owen.
I think have him being middle-aged.
I mean, I'm not worried about Ewan McGregor.
Give him some face cream or something like that, you know.
Looks like he did in...
That's why I think the flashback scenes are given, because Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor still look almost the exact same as they did.
But Joel Edgerton doesn't. No. Yeah, I mean.
But the one thing is that I think right now he kind of he doesn't look like how he did in the prequels. But I think he's at a good halfway point in between how Uncle Owen looked like in A New Hope.
Yeah.
And that's all it really needs to be.
Yeah, I think if they don't have him have like a beard, it will make him look younger.
Yeah.
And they have him with a beard, then
or dye the beard like a dark brown.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Like that, that's a little bit of the conundrum there too. It's like, well, you don't have to worry about Ewan or Hayden, and they look the same, but Joel Edgerton does look older than.
But that's where the timeline can really come into a part of for this. They're putting this at the 10. This is in the timeline. This is after. I'm pretty sure this would be like right around the time of Solo. Ish. Is kind of when this would happen. I think this might be right before or right after Solo. My assumption is probably right before.
Or during.
Yeah, or during some like that's kind of the time is. So you're nowhere close to Rogue One. That's still like 10 years off. Ish. And you're not close to Revenge of the Sith, because Vader's been Vader for 10 years, and Obi-Wan's been hiding for 10 years. So, 10 years is 10 years. So I think that can be really good in just kind of smoothing some of that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they could just do the easy thing and just say, screw you, we don't care about continuity, and we're just going to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, we'll see.
Disney has done before, and I caution... Not that they care whatever I say, but, I caution against that, because every time they've done that, the end result has always been horrible.
Yeah, mostly like
a backlash.
They're going to start shooting this month. Mm-hmm. And who knows, maybe by the end of the year, maybe when they have D23 in the fall, we might get our first little tease of something. I think this thing is probably won't even debut until 2022. That's my guess. I doubt they'll have it at the end of the year, since they already have a few Marvel things coming out, and The Mandalorian, and the Boba Fett show.
That's actually what I even with all of this, I'm more excited for Boba Fett than I am The Mandalorian or Obi-Wan,
I don't
or
know.
anything else.
I admit, I'm looking forward to the Obi-Wan thing because
I'm looking
I guess
forward to it.
the nostalgia of those prequels, and whether you like them or not, I think just seeing Ewan McGregor back and Hayden Christensen back is gonna put a smile on people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all on the Obi-Wan stuff.
Yeah, I think the one thing that they could actually do to really help this is to just put out a video of showing the timeline. Like, not a video, like, just for the promotion for this Obi-Wan series, if they could put out just a video that basically plots out the timeline of all the stuff that's still in canon, plot it out and say, this is what happens where. Just so that way, I can show it to my mom and say, see, look, Obi-Wan's here. Mandalorian's here, because I can almost guarantee that there's going to be people that goes like, where's Baby Yoda? Where's Grogu? Where's the Mandalorian? During the Obi-Wan series. And we're all going to go like, they are 30 plus years.
You see Hayden Christensen? Yeah, no Grogu. Yoda is still around.
That would actually be interesting, is to show Yoda and almost show... Like,
Well,
I think it would be...
Anything you want to mess with the audience and have a back shot of Yoda and people think it's Grogu?
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
Oh, and the Grogu. No.
Yeah, or have Yoda, or even show... Or you could do a scene in how Grogu gets away.
Huh.
Or maybe, like, Obi-Wan, or whoever, Bail Organa calls up Obi-Wan and says, hey, I need your help hitting this... Empire thing because there's something of great value. Boom, something happens.
Oh, no,
and you see that Grogu is being held captive by the Empire or something.
I don't know. I really don't think they'll go there.
I don't think it, but it would be funny. It would get people to lose their cruds.
I mean, I can see them doing like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Well, not actually. So, that is it on Obi-Wan for now, and I think we'll keep you informed when they bring up more news and hopefully down the road a teaser that we'll react to. On our next topic, we're going to talk about the first trailer for Space Jam: A New Legacy. It came out last Saturday during the Final Four. This movie's long overdue. The first one came out in '96. I was in kindergarten. I am 31.
We were youngins.
I was 31. I'm 31 now. Don't do the math. So long overdue. So Zach, what do you think about the trailer?
It was what it was. I don't know, man. Just something feels off about it. I don't know if it's the animation, if it's like just the general overview of the story that they were telling. Like, I don't know. Like, I was kind of hyped for it, but I wasn't. It got me to the point where it's just going like, yeah, I'll watch it. It's on like HBO Max.
Yeah.
But it didn't get me to the, oh, I'm so excited, like the Space Jam one. I don't know, like the animations, I don't know what it was, but something felt off to me. And I don't know whether it was because it was more CGI and looking and feeling and not that like hand-drawn animation style.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of look of it. But I don't know, it looked off to me in a way, which, it's a trailer. They could always fix it, They did it with Sonic,
yeah.
But, there was no one else really had the reaction that I'm having, so I don't know. And it's just like, I don't know, just the tunes didn't look like how they're supposed to look to me. They looked weird.
Yeah, weird. Back in the day before film and before I was a filmmaker, I was a huge basketball fan. Especially the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan was like my god in my mind. My entire room was Chicago Bulls everything. From the ceiling to the floor, my entire room was covered in Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls paraphernalia. So when Space Jam came out, that was like the movie for me. I watched that movie so many times. I still remember seeing it in the theater with Jake Vance and Jesse Vance from football, my brother's football team. We were at the theater. Still remember that. And I used to watch this movie on repeat. I was a huge basketball fan. Michael Jordan was my guy way before Spielberg or Scorsese now. And watching this trailer, I'm sorry for all you LeBron people, he doesn't do it for me. Michael Jordan's my guy, and I don't see Michael Jordan in here, and, and the story is a little, his son gets kidnapped, he has to play a game. Okay, I understand he has to get his son back, but where's the struggle? And we know he's going to win the game. He's LeBron. Even though I don't think LeBron is that great, but I said Michael Jordan's my guy. That's why I stopped watching basketball after Michael Jordan retired. So I don't mind the animation. I actually thought that was one of the things that was interesting when they went from 2D to 3D. It's almost like the evolution in animation. Now I don't know how long the 2D is going to be actually on screen versus the 3D. Well, I think seeing that kind of evolution can be interesting. The one thing also I actually didn't like is when they showed all the different characters from other franchises. You see like King Kong and Iron Giant and the dragon from Game of Thrones. And if you actually, someone did like a really detailed look at the trailer, they got the mask from Jim Carrey in there. You got Pennywise the Clown, Joker. I'm like, what is this? I know it's Looney, you want to be fun and everything, and have like this giant universe.
Well, that's kind of, I feel like that's almost the Warner effect. They want to cram in all of their properties into this and just go like.
But that's not Space Jam, and that's the thing that I'm like, I don't need to see Pennywise. First of all, how many people are going to be like, oh, Pennywise the Clown? If you've seen the It movies, yes, but other than that, oh, there's Jack Nicholson's Joker. But it's not Jack Nicholson.
Right. I don't know, it's weird. The biggest thing is that, like, I don't like the general plot line that we got from the trailer. I don't care. Just like you said, it's a very predictable story. The Michael Jordan one in the original Space Jam I thought was great because it mimicked real life.
Yeah, it was
like his life.
Yeah, because he played basketball, he stopped playing, he played baseball. They even showed that in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then, his friends like Charles Barkley and Larry Bird are trying to get him back into playing basketball. So the Tunes steal him off the golf course. Something he was also known for, playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
And, he went down there to Looney Tunes Land and got back his spirit and survived to play basketball again. And once again, even at the end of the movie, they show him back on the professional basketball with the Chicago Bulls. And they took the footage of him when he was playing, when he came back and returned, and put that in the movie. So it was almost like a semi-autobiography mixed with the Looney Tunes.
Right, and because it mimicked real life. And it's like, of course, you already know how both are going to end. That's not in doubt. It's not like we're going to end up with Michael Jordan getting his head chopped off by whatever Pepe Le Pew or whoever, and it's just going like. So I guess here's the thing. Here's actually something where I think, just in my head, this pops into my head right now, is that would be interesting. So do you remember the scene? I remember this, and I'm not a basketball fan, of when LeBron went to the Miami Heat. And they had that press conference, and they were going like, we're not going to win 1 ring. We're not going to win 2 rings. We're not going to win 3. And they did that. That is a great villain. I know LeBron he never wants to be portrayed as a villain, but that would be a great villain role in a Space Jam stuff. If you take the same kind of thing where the guy comes and he abducts the players and turns them into aliens, and that's where they get the opposing team. I think using that Miami team of that time and almost using that part in and almost setting it back in then would be a great thing of LeBron to have been the captain of the aliens team. I don't know who you would then base off of the whatever. Kobe's gone, so unfortunately, but I guess that put Kobe on there.
Yeah, I mean,
or it's just like, I don't know, it's just like Michael Jordan has a better story than LeBron kind of going into it, just of how everyone views Michael Jordan. when the pandemic hit and that the Michael Jordan docu-series hit.
Oh, The Last Dance.
Yeah, that was like huge. And if you do the exact same thing from LeBron,
yeah, you don't get much.
you're not going to get that same reaction. And so LeBron, like statistics-wise and everything else, he might be better than Michael Jordan. I don't know. I don't follow basketball, so
No.
skewer me on that. But in terms of legacy and star power, Michael Jordan is still going to be on top almost solely because of, just how him at his peak of iconicness is so much higher than LeBron James is now. Now, this is also a current thing of where, this is the same problem that's not just seen in basketball, but it's seen in baseball and football and everything else, pro wrestling and all that stuff, is that the new stars are not being able to really get that shine as brightly as some of the older stars. So the time of the 90s and the early 2000s, that's like there's a different quality about the stars that were made in that time period than are the ones that are made in the past 10 years.
And then also, even if you think of supporting characters like Bill Murray and Wayne Knight from Jurassic Park, the fat guy, those were comic relief in the original, especially Bill Murray at the time. Then are you going to have people like that are going to,
you would have shown him in the trailer.
Yeah, you would have shown
so it's like
Bill Murray or someone.
It's like how, I guess the one thing of what it looked like when I saw this, it was like, oh, this is LeBron James movie.
Yeah.
It's not Space Jam. It's a LeBron James movie. And it's a LeBron James movie that I don't really care to see.
I mean, then it'll be interesting. This will be another movie that's going to be on HBO Max and in the theater. How many people will actually go see it in the theater versus HBO, especially with a movie like this, it's Space Jam. And by July, it'll be interesting where we are in terms of
opening up and everything.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I mean, this could be real. The one thing we're saying all this stuff, it's aimed at kids. Yeah. So it is what it is. But the one thing about this is just for the storyline of this, the reason why I think the original Space Jam works better is that Michael Jordan, they were saying dude, you're amazing, but you suck right now. The start of the LeBron James Space Jam was, you're awesome, I'm awesome, why don't we just go out and dominate? It's just going you're not showing, there's nothing for me to connect with there. Mm-hmm. I'm not an all-star basketball player. Not a chance. Nowhere near it. So it's but I can connect with Michael Jordan of being I'm really good at something, but I'm not doing that something, and I suck at what I'm trying to do. Mm-hmm. But I'm really good at this other thing. Why aren't you doing this other thing? Mm-hmm. That's something that people can connect with.
Yeah.
I don't get that personal connection for LeBron saying, you're awesome, I'm awesome, let's go do awesome sauce.
For me, it's going to be more nostalgia than anything. I'm not a LeBron fan. Mm. I haven't really watched basketball in years, since elementary school.
Yeah.
So right there would just mean something to me I haven't seen a movie in a while. Let's for 90 minutes, let's go see how it is.
On HBO Max.
Yeah, maybe I'll come over here and we'll watch it here.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll just we'll stream our reactions to it or something.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on now. Warner Brothers came out and canceled 2 movies that they were originally planned. Ava DuVernay's New Gods and James Wan spinoff The Trench have been canceled.
Okay. I don't... Here's the question. Why were you doing them in the first place?
Well, I can see that the Trench one, it was an interesting scene in Aquaman, and you got James Wan who has a horror background, and do more of a horror, spin on that in the underwater. That could have been cool. I mean, it mixed practical effects with CGI, and had this horror, underwater adventure horror spin. That could have been interesting. But the new guys with Ava DuVernay, who to me, other than for Selma, hasn't proven herself. Her last movie, A Wrinkle in Time, was a bomb, both critically and financially.
Yeah, okay, let's put this out there. The new gods are boring. They are. They're there to be the foil for Darkseid. And if DC and Warner Brothers are not taking the Snyderverse, then you don't need a New Gods. The New Gods is pointless. They're just going so it's like if they took the Snyderverse, then okay, a New Gods thing could be interesting. But right now, the New Gods are really just a foil for Darkseid, and they're supposed to be they're like the holier than now snoots of the DC universe. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, we're so powerful, but you guys are just pissants compared to us. So that's kind of what they are. Like, Steppenwolf was originally a New God, so, he's a bad guy in the Snyderverse, but, there's a version of Steppenwolf where he's actually a good guy. So, it's kind of just like, I don't care. Yeah. I wasn't excited when they announced it. I don't care that they canceled it. Now, The Trench, if they were doing something like you said, but my whole thing is just like, so what's the point of it? Like, what are you trying to do with this? If this was going to be like how The Trench happened, and then, or like something like that, of how they went down there and then got corrupted or something like that, or...
yeah, I mean, they could have done like a body horror film where these people go down there and they literally get transformed or into these monsters.
Right, and it's like, but also at the same time, it's just going like, what's the point? Like, for a whole movie for it, if you did something where Aquaman was going down to the trench to conquer it and to help whatever, it's all these things, it's really a curse done by some mystical artifact that Aquaman has to go down and destroy the artifact and bring and lift the people of the trench back up into the seven seas and all that stuff, and unite the seven seas of that stuff. Okay, there's a point to it, but that doesn't really make sense. Like, the point of this is going, like, you could do a lot with it, but I guess we hadn't got to the point of A, people caring about it, B, just like the interest in it. Mm-hmm. I guess that's kind of the same thing, but just like, no one cares. It was an interesting part of the Aquaman movie, but it wasn't a big part of it. It was the finale thing. It was the we're being chased by a bunch of monsters scene. It wasn't like it wasn't the final battle. Mm-hmm. It was the setup to the final battle. And, if I guess if someone died in the trench, then okay. But no one died. So it's like, I guess our heroes have already conquered the bad. So it's like, who cares to go back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it because I would rather them, go forward with movies like Shazam 2, Black Adam, Batgirl, Katana, something where they could actually build a story and character around and have a beginning, middle, and end that has a point. So yeah, I'm not crying about this.
It would have been interesting, but in the grand scheme of life, it frees up production time and money.
Yeah.
Is what it really does. They can now take all that time and money. I mean, it sucks for the directors and the cast of everything else.
Well, not really, because James Wan is still doing Aquaman 2. But that was the other thing. Like, if he's about to start shooting Aquaman 2 soon, when was he going to do this anyway? I mean...
I don't know.
Unless he was going to just be the producer and have some other director direct it, then okay.
But then you lose the point of, because James Wan is the horror guy.
Yeah, but he's done that with, like, The Conjuring. The next Conjuring, someone else is directing it. Insidious, other directors came on board. The Saw franchise. I mean, so he has passed his own stuff over to other people. But,
I guess I go back to both of them. And the point of these movies was what?
To make more money.
Make more money, but it's just going like... There's a difference. We're doing stuff to make money. It's going like, yes, and you need a point, or else people won't go see the movie to get the point.
Alright, now that's it on that topic. We're going to move on to our next topic now. About a week ago, Netflix came out and said they bought the... So, basically, Ryan Johnson owned Knives Out. It was his baby. No studio owned it. It was his own property. His own material. He wrote it. He produced it. It's his baby for $40 million. Netflix, though, he got rid of the studio that did the first movie. Came out in 2019. Very good movie. Great ensemble. Fun little film. And he said, okay, I'm going to shop my baby around, and who wants my baby? Netflix said, we're going to give you $450 million to make 2 and 3. Knives Out 2 and 3. And Ryan Johnson said, you got my baby for $450 million. And now, that is the only stipulation they gave Ryan Johnson was, you have to make it for at least $40 million each film. Only $40 million. So Ryan Johnson just became very, very successful before he even shot a roll of film for this. These movies could suck. The first one was great, but really he can make 2 awful movies. And this week we learned that he's getting $100 million. And Daniel Craig is getting $100 million just to come back and play the role again as a detective. $100 million. I understand why he doesn't want to play Bond anymore. Why would you? He can retire after this. $100 million. Everyone freaked out when Robert Downey Jr. wanted more money when he re-signed to do more Marvel movies, like Civil War and Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. He got like $50 million, 40 or 50 million. And people were like, what? An actor getting $50 million? Are you insane? Well, Daniel Craig has everyone beat.
Now, is that $100 million per?
No,
or is that just $100 million for both?
$100 million for both.
So it's $50 million per.
It's still $100 million.
Well, technically it equals Downey in the $50 million per.
But Downey got $50 million for the rest of Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame.
Okay, Homecoming he was in for like what, 5 minutes?
No, he was in I would say about 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
So
in a 2-hour movie.
Here's what I think they should do. In Knives Out 2, they should give Ryan Johnson absolutely no part in it. They should give it to some new guy. And it should be renamed Spoons. And then when everyone says, this isn't what we wanted, the guy just says, oh, we subverted your expectations. You know, I hate Ryan Johnson. I don't care. Like, Ryan Johnson, I don't like him. I don't like him as a person. I don't like him as a filmmaker. I started watching Knives Out, and I stopped because, I don't know. I'm very much against this guy. This guy is, like, pure toxic to me after what he did with Star Wars. And, you know, the only thing that I can hope for is, out of spitefulness, is someone does to him what he did to Star Wars. And that's about the only thing that I could hope for. So I am starting the petition for Knives Out 2 to be all about spoons. The murder weapon needs to be a silver spoon in the library at 2 a.m. And the dead person is Ryan Johnson.
I like Ryan Johnson's film Brick with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That was like his first independent film. Looper with Joseph Gordon-Levitt again. Bruce Willis. That was a really good one. sci-fi, low budget. And what else did he? I don't mind The Last Jedi. You know, I don't really blame him.
Gravity in Space.
I don't really blame him. I blame the studio and the producers. Like, yeah, go do whatever you want. Okay, you didn't have a roadmap for 3 movies. You literally said, go do whatever you want. So, he did what he wanted. And you guys didn't back down at all. You guys said, yeah, sure, yeah, sure, yeah, sure. I don't blame the guy. If a studio said, yeah, Matt, you can do whatever you want. Okay, here's the money. Go do whatever you want. You're going to do whatever you want. That's not your fault. That's the studio saying, we don't have a roadmap.
It shows, the problem that I have with that is that, you know, he did whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the right to do whatever he wants according to the studio. The problem is that you didn't give a crap about what you were doing because you didn't care about how your film would impact the other films in this is. It's not like you were coming in and doing Knives Out. And they said, do whatever you want. This is the rough story. We want you to do a murder mystery thing with knives. Go have fun with it. Here's all the money to do it. That's not what they did. They said, you're coming in to do Star Wars in the second one of a trilogy. You know the start point. They gave him probably a rough end point of what it was.
You know what I mean?
They probably said, you can't kill Rey.
Yeah,
you can't kill...
Finn.
you can't kill Finn.
And Poe.
Yeah, you can't kill those.
Okay, that's it.
And that's probably about it.
Yeah.
So that's rough enough.
Yeah, and he did it.
But it's just like, but at the same time, it's just going like, that just shows that that's why I dislike him personally, because it's like you came into something, and you didn't care.
Well,
you came into something that other people do care about, and then it's like you walked into a kid building Legos, and you kicked the Lego over and destroyed it.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't blame him because the studio didn't have a roadmap. If you don't have if you're a studio and you're like, yeah, we're making a trilogy, here's beginning, middle, end. Well, you don't have a middle at the time of after doing The Force Awakens. We know you don't have an end because your end, you just hired a different director. Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do the third one, and he had his own script, his own Mamie. That was also different than the first two. And they threw that out, but he had his own script. And it's like, and even the studio and some of the cast members said, yeah, there was never a roadmap.
I agree with that. The studio failed just as much as Rian Johnson did. But the fact that you as a person can't come in and recognize the situation that you're in and give and do your job well enough so that way the first part of the next movie after you is having to retcon and fix half of your movie away?
Well, that's
a problem.
No, I blame more on that on JJ then, because JJ decided and then retcon stuff and then saying, okay, let me go from here now and try and continue rather than let's retcon this, let's retcon this, let's retcon this. Oh, we're going to bring in...
I don't blame JJ at all because the stuff that he retconned and had to change was stuff that was so horribly done in Rian Johnson one. So if Rian Johnson just gave, like, if you said that he gave a, 5% of a shit about what he did, if he just gave 10% of a shit about what he did, then JJ wouldn't have had to do half the crap that he had to do. This is turning more into something about Star Wars, but it's just going like...
But,
I think Rian Johnson is fine whenever Rian Johnson does whatever Rian Johnson wants to do, and something that only he has to do. Do not put Rian Johnson in charge of a franchise that relies him on doing something in something else. If he built something like Knives Out, good on ya. That's your stuff that you do whatever. I have a personal thing that I hope someone comes and ruins it for you, but that's just me being a little shit. But... like, my big thing is that he's fine when he does that. But he's shown that he can't do the job when he's brought into a franchise to be the middle. The middle, okay, out of the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. Which are the best movies out of those three? If you had to pick the best prequel movie and the best original one, which one do you choose for it? Like, one from each. Your top prequel and your top original trilogy Star Wars.
Wrinkle, the Revenge of the Sith.
Uh-huh.
Original, Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. So you chose the last part about each of it. I choose my original. I'm with you on Revenge of the Sith because Attack of the Clones was so crap when it should have been the best. The meat of the trilogy is the second one. The prequel failed. The original gave the best Star Wars movie, in my opinion, which is Empire Strikes Back. That movie was near perfect, in my opinion. I love that movie to death. Because, for me, as, you know, when I saw it, the good guys always won. And I saw that, and I was going like, oh, so when Luke's about to beat Vader and do whatever, it's, oh, he just got his hand chopped off. Oh, he just fell down a hole. Oh my god! The bad guys won! That was huge for me. Of, like, the bad guys winning and all that stuff. And let's look at, you know, The Last Jedi. The bad guys won at the end. But everything in between it was crap. I don't know. I mean, this is about Star Wars when it's about Rian Johnson, but
anyway,
I guess he's so toxic that he didn't.
I'm really they're going to be shooting this soon. So, I'm more curious about the cast. This is obviously the only returning character is going to be Daniel Craig playing the detective. So, the ensemble for the first one was excellent. I mean, you had a lot of new people and a lot of older, you know, recognizable names like Jamie Lee Curtis in there and Christopher Plummer. That was like his last film he did. So, I'll be curious what kind of, you know, you had like Chris Evans in there who was great comedic relief. After seeing him 10 years as Captain America being more serious, you kind of forget about, you know, oh, before all this, he was a comedian in, like, not another teen movie and the original Fantastic Four movies. Johnny Storm being the more, you know, comedic relief. Mm-hmm. So it was nice seeing that. And Ana de Armas, who we already talked about recently with, like, the new Bond, she was, like, the main role in there, and they hit her in the trailers. So I'm curious, like, in the ensemble, old actors they get, like legendary actors and fresh faces. You know, what other Marvel actors might show up. You know, I mean, cool to see, like, Robert Downey Jr. pop in, or, you know, Elizabeth Olsen or something.
Yeah, crime stuff is really good. I mean, like, there's a reason why one of the most longest-lasting stuff besides soap operas are crime
Murder
TV
mystery,
shows.
yeah.
Like NCIS, Law and Order. You know, that's why I'm rewatching Bones at the moment. Because they're nice, simple stuff where it's going like, there's conflict, there's the investigation, there's the drama, the suspense, and there's the out. Yeah, if you're able to do that in a really interesting way, cool. Yeah, and he's going to get a lot of money for it, so good on him. I just don't like him.
And I think he got shows like Mindhunters and True Detective, you know, with crime and solving crime. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that area is hot right now, and luckily and even got Kenneth Branagh, who did the Murder on the Orient Express. The Death on the Nile movie was supposed to come out by now. The sequel. Once again, another murder mystery film. So those movies are hot right now. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm sure in the next couple of weeks or months we will get a cast lineup.
Yeah. I mean, good on you. The cast, I mean, when looking at it, if I can take away my Rian Johnson bias against him, what he had and the cast ensemble, from what I saw of the movie, that's what made it. Mm-hmm. If you put in lesser quality actors and that, you're not going to get what you got. So, like, I could see why they're paying Daniel Craig a ton of money. I can see why they're doing some of the things that they're doing. And, you know, if they made that, like, here's the thing. The one thing that made this good was the same reason why the Westing Game is one of my favorite mystery novels as a kid. And that's about murder happens, it's all about a group of people that are stuck together in this area that's trying to figure out what's going on and everything else, and kind of the suspense that goes along with it. That's very interesting to me. So the basis and the premise of the movie was very well done. And the ensemble cast is what made the characters, the different personalities that are in there and everything else. That's what's going to help move along the plot of these stories better. Now, if he completely changes it and does like whatever, not an ensemble movie, and just does like a Jack the Ripper-esque thing of where the dude's trying to solve like a Jack the Ripper-esque crime, I don't think it's going to do as well, because the whole thing about why the success of the first movie was the ensemble cast. If you take away what's successful and then say we subverted your expectations, it's going to fall flat. And, he got the contract for that stuff. I'm betting that if Knives Out 2 doesn't do as well as Netflix hopes it does, they're going to renegotiate in there and say, you're getting less money now.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't say in the article if he's going to shoot 2 and 3 at the same time and just put them out like one in, 2022, third one in 2023, or they're going to shoot one of them and then wait a couple months, shoot the next one. I don't know if each one is going to be like a completely different crime, or it's going to be like one giant crime that's going to be split into 2 movies.
Well, since I didn't finish watching it, how did it end? Like, was there, was it wrapped up?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's wrapped up with a bow, so moving on. I guess it's one of the things where it's like, where they order a sequel because the show, like, something did well, but it's just going like, well, we already reached the conclusion and the end of the story. So it's just like...
That's why I think only Daniel Craig, since he's the detective, he's going to be probably investigating another crime or another family. That's what I'm saying, a whole new cast. Just like Kenneth Branagh, he came back to play the detective in Death on the Nile, but that's a whole new cast too. So yeah, we'll see.
And that's why you play Daniel Craig, the big bucks.
Yeah. Well, like I said, now he goes from Bond to this, and he got richer. I'm sure his wife, Rachel Weisz, is very happy.
I'm going to assume that Daniel Craig's sooner or later just going to end up being like taking like the Viggo Mortensen route. I'm just going like, I'm just going to, I've earned my money. Now I'm just only going to do what I want to do.
And I think that's what really...
Because he was not happy with playing Bond. So if this is a project that he wants to do and he's going to get paid a ton of money to do it, man. I'm happy for Daniel Craig to do it because he's a great actor.
Yeah, and it definitely shows his range. Like in Knives Out, and the other Steven Soderbergh film, Logan Lucky. I mean, I like him as Bond, but, when you look at, like, even back to, like, Road to Perdition, like, yeah, you have range. I'm not saying you're still my favorite Bond so far, but, I want to see you do other stuff. So, good on him. Get that cheddar. And he's going to have a lot of it. Even if you don't solve the crime. So, final topic today. It was announced by Adam Wingard himself, the director of the recent Godzilla vs. Kong, that he is going to be making a live-action /CGI Thundercats movie. I don't know about you, but I used to watch that 90s show every day when it was on. I had the little toy figures, and I've been dying for a live-action Thundercats since the 90s, and even after, like, Avatar, I was like, they need to do a Thundercats. With this technology, they need to do a Thundercats movie. I mean, actually, I don't know if you, back in, like, 2008, someone did, like, a short, and they got, like, Brad Pitt to play Lion-O, Vin Diesel to be one of the other characters, and it was on, I think you can look it up on YouTube, and they have, Snarf as a CGI And I was like, this is good. It's like a 5-minute nothing. And I'm like, I want that. I need that. Give me, now. So, and Adam Wingard's apparently been a fan since he was a child. In high school, he wrote a 200-page script. Everyone made fun of him. I don't know who's laughing now.
Everyone else is not laughing. He is the only one who laughs.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Thundercats?
I think I've watched it as a kid. I loved it. You know, you have the whole thing where it's like, thunder, 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 Thundercats. Oh! It's like, I think that's a little cheesy now, but as a kid, it was awesome. And you know how the sword extends and all the other stuff, and
and Munra and the villain.
Yeah, it's just like, I think it can be really interesting. I guess the one thing that I want them to do with it is I want them to take it in like a serious route. Kind of, not like in the fact that like what they're doing in it is seriously, but I think he will do it because he's doing Godzilla and Kong, and that's why I think he's gonna do it is like you could do Godzilla and Kong and then have just a bunch of people just going like a giant monkey. This is bullcrap. Are we all high or something? And make fun of the fact of what it is. So you don't want to take the Deadpool type of route with it, where you're making fun of the fact that this even exists.
No,
so you want to, it's like you're taking it seriously in the fact that like you're treating your characters with respect, in the fact that you respect the characters, and it's just going like, whatever. And I think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I like Adam Wingard. Like my recent review for Godzilla vs. Kong. He did movies like You're Next and The Guest. You're Next was a horror film. The Guest was like a throwback to like 80s action with a horror vibe to it. Great movie. And then like they did like Godzilla vs. Kong, finally does a big blockbuster film, and to me it's been the best MonsterVerse movie, or monster movie so far in this new Godzilla Kong universe. So after seeing that, I'm like, yeah, he can handle a Thundercats, especially if he wants to do live action and CGI, and they go kind of like an Avatar route with the CGI look. That can look really cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the importance of it, is that are they going to give enough money to make the CGI look good?
Well, and it's the same studio game as Godzilla Kong, then I think they will. Mm-hmm. The CGI in that movie was great. I mean, it was like state of the art. I mean, there were moments I was like, that looks real. That giant effing lizard looks real. Mm-hmm. Or that giant gorilla looks real. So if they can give that money to Thundercats, and when you were talking about like tone, for me, at least personally, the recent Power Rangers movie that came out 2017, where they took it seriously, still had a little fun, but mainly serious. Mm-hmm. And they go that route. That could be a great
really
tone.
Good. I love that Power Rangers movie too. It was like, and that's how I think that needed to take some of this stuff. A lot of the stuff from the 90s is cheesy as all heck, as all get out. But it's just like, if you take it, it's like, and you just give it a little bit of respect, and you take, it's just going like, it's very easy to get an audience to believe a premise of a movie. The way that you do it is that you take it seriously. If the film takes it seriously, then the audience will get like, if you're saying this, you're going like, oh, aliens exist. Oh, these cat people, these cat humanoids come down to this other thing, and they come to this planet, and they're trying to, rebuild their civilization of whatever and all this stuff. It's just going like, and you take that seriously. It's just going like, then you can get what you get out of it is going to be more engagement of the thing. I think a lot of movies right now try to ground everything into our real life, and the fact, and how, if it happened outside of our window right now, how would we react to it? And half of that is we make fun of it.
Yeah.
But if we just sweep us away to a fantasy world.
That's what I'm saying. They need to do like an Avatar where on another planet, bring in the sci-fi element, bring in the, a little bit of, so they had a little bit of a horror background, bring in some horror with the villain, Monra. Back in the 90s, that dude was scary.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like, scared by that. Yes, you can have the comic relief with the Snarf,
Yeah.
the cat thingy.
I couldn't remember his name, that's why I didn't say him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, and it will be interesting, like, the actors they get. Will he go with people that he's known, like Dan Stevens, or Micah Monroe, or like some of the people from the recent Godzilla movie, like Rebecca Hall? I don't know. Or will they go the Power Rangers route, where they got, at the time, unknown actors like Darcy Montgomery, who went on to do Stranger Things, or Naomi Scott, who went on to do Aladdin, or Looney Lin, who's going to be in the new Shang-Chi movie. At the time, they were unknown. Nobody. So,
I think if you get one, you get most unknowns, but get like Lion-O as like the name to bring everything in. Or, I feel really bad. What's her name? The main girl.
In the Thundercats?
Yes.
Oh, I have no idea.
I think it was like Tigra or something.
He looked like a tiger.
Right. If you make both of those, basically there's the adult characters and then you have the kid characters. And even though I know in the thing Lion-O is a kid and then gets like aged up really quick and all that stuff, so that's why he acts like a kid in the thing. But if you make Lion-O and her, like, you get two characters that are the big names and then you put the unknowns around them.
I mean, yeah, I just feel like did you sneeze?
I coughed and sneezed at the same time.
Oh, I thought you were trying to cough out a name.
No, I'm trying not to die.
If you got like a Charlize Theron to play the main female.
Oh, yeah.
Or like a Gerard Butler to play Lion-O with that voice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the 2009 movie had like Brad Pitt as Lion-O.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
No? Not now.
They had Vin Diesel play one of the characters. The guy with the all gray.
Yeah.
He had like the horn.
Mm-hmm.
He was Vin. But I just feel like a Gerard. If you want to give someone with the voice as like, Lion-O, a Butler would work for me. I'm sure there's others. I mean, I'm just thinking about big names.
Yeah. I think I trust him and I trust Adam Wingard to do this right. And that's the one thing of where it's just coming like, if you had come out and said Rian Johnson, and I'm only picking him, A, because I don't like him, B, because we already talked about him in the podcast, but it's like, if you came out and said Rian Johnson's doing that, I would go like, I'm going to go rewatch all of Thundercats just so that way I can have that in my memory and never see this. I trust Adam Wingard to do this right.
Yeah.
I would not trust someone like Rian Johnson to do this.
Well, like I said, I mean, it'll be curious to see. Like Dan Stevens, he's become a big name in like Beauty and the Beast. He was in Eurovision this last summer, this Will Ferrell movie. I can see him coming in and playing a major role. Or Michael.
What about a Luke Evans as Lion-O?
Yeah, I can see a Luke Evans or I think Michael Monroe. I can see him playing one of the younger cats.
Yeah, the
or
twins.
even Millie Bobby Brown.
Right? The boy.
I mean, I can see Millie Bobby Brown coming in. And playing one of the younger...
Yeah, I think...
Or Angelina Jolie as one of the female.
Yeah, I think like a Charlize Theron or an Angelina Jolie would do like really well in that.
Well, they've done action
I feel
movies.
bad that I can't remember the character's name.
They've done action. They've done... they have the look.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Look, this is all about cats. I think the older female character should be a cougar. At least in that thought. I think that's what you want.
Miss Singer, we know what your son is thinking. I hope you enjoy your son's thoughts.
She actually listens to this, so she's going to get there, and I'll probably get a text and just go like, what did you just say?
So, Zach, then you want... When you say, how old are we looking here?
I'm thinking like, I will plead the fifth now. I would like to retract all my previous statements.
Well, for now, I'm going to go with Charlize Theron or Angelina Jolie. Zach might want older.
No, I think that's the right range.
He wants Helen Mirren.
Hey, Helen Mirren is Helen Mirren.
Going down a further hole. But yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see how far along they are on this. And, I mean, like I said, I'm curious on the direction, the tone, and when you say CGI live action, like I said, are you going the Avatar route, or are you going something else? Now,
going the Avatar route, or how they did in Godzilla vs. Kong, I think is the right way to do it, because
number one, you can't go the recent Cats route.
Oh, God,
that would be awful. But
if they do that, they might as well just, like, say, take all the pile of money and just burn it.
But I also don't
use than that.
I also don't want, like, in makeup. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that either.
Yeah, like, I think that this would, like, this is the one thing where...
In practical makeup, I mean. That would have looked good.
Yeah, the practical makeup can do a lot. Like, let's not...
Now, unless that.
Just that practical makeup can do a lot.
But it could.
The problem is that I think they should be more practical when it gets to the stunts and stuff like that. More CGI when it comes to, like, their faces. Like, the face is going to be the big stuff.
I would almost reverse that for me. I think when you do more close-up, practical makeup would add something to it, while the action can be more CGI, heavy. I don't know, that's how I...
Yeah, I think I could see it both ways. I guess the biggest thing is just going, like, the one good thing is that you can... The show itself made it really simple. They're mostly wearing, like, jumpsuits kind of way. So they're, the stuff that you're animating is mainly going to be, like, the feet, the hands, the face. The rest of it you can kind of, like, cover up.
Yeah, because Lionel is almost like a human body. Like, the body, you still see the arms. They're not furry. They're normal arms of a human being.
Right. It's not, like...
No, it's more like the face, the feet, maybe the hands a little bit, but the body of itself is human.
Right.
So
it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to see what he can do with it. But, I trust him much more than I would other directors in order to do this right. And I think going that Power Rangers 2017
Power Rangers mixed with Avatar, mixed with maybe in the recent Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
You can find an interesting, like, in terms of practical makeup, like the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go down that route.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, they can blend Star Trek with Avatar in terms of CGI, makeup, and then go more in the tone of Power Rangers 2017. That would be interesting.
Yeah. I think it could be good. I mean, this is something that everyone's looking at and going like, interesting.
Yeah.
We didn't realize that we would be reviving this franchise in 2020.
2020. But it is
in the 2020 decade, we're reviving Thundercats. That is not something that anyone had on their bingo card.
Bingo. And the winner is Thundercats. But to me, this is a property that I'm like, you haven't done a Thundercats movie yet?
Yeah.
You think of like the evolution and, like I said, special effects and CGI. I truly thought when Avatar got made back 20 years ago, it feels like 2009. Well, yeah, 20 years ago. That there wasn't going to be an announcement of Thundercats after that. Like, alright, we saw what you guys did. Green light a Thundercats movie. And here we are, and now we're finally... We might get Thundercats before Avatar 2.
That would be interesting. There's a lot of good here.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think that first trailer is going to hinge so much on the success of what this is.
I mean, the cast and the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cast is going to be like, they got him to play Lionel, or, yes, they got him to play Lionel. And I think, for me, Lionel's the main, like, you got to nail that casting. I mean, the other cast, yeah, you want them to work. Where if, like, Lionel to me is like a James Earl Jones. Like, you want him.
Yeah.
You want that guy to play. Imagine that guy with the red hair and the, cat-like face, muscles, tall, 6'5",
Jacked to the gills.
Yeah. And no, not The Rock.
What about John Cena?
No.
Batista?
No. I can see Batista as one of the minor. Right? The guy
I could see Batista as the villain.
Monroe.
I think that would be interesting.
I can see Batista as the guy that Vin Diesel played in that short film with the gray and with the bald head. I can see Batista as him. But Lionel. I'm going with almost like a Gerard Butler.
Yeah. I will always say this. Batista has more acting chops than people give him credit for. He is excellent. So, he might be like a Liam Neeson in the fact that, the older he gets, all of a sudden his star power is going to explode even more. But,
Liam Neeson wouldn't be a bad Monroe, actually.
Yeah.
Tall, giant, voice. Maybe down the road when we get closer to hearing more about this, maybe we'll do our own fan casting.
Yep.
Down the road. But for now, I'm glad they're finally moving forward with this. It's way overdue. And we'll let you know more down the road when more news comes out.
And always remember to like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. The podcast is available wherever you want to get your podcast. If we are not there, let us know, and we will get there. Remember to like our Facebook page, Attack Bat Productions. Thanks for listening, everyone.